Hi everyone. I hope we're having a good evening. So what we're going to do tonight is go through some of the basic skills we need for content creator. So this is just some of the essential skills that we all need to get this software going. So let's see what we're going to do. So Content Creators, the Labour Party's software for holding and recording personal information on public voting intention. It's key to canvassing and doorstep campaigning, and using it is an important skill for local party candidates. It is a complicated piece of software, and I'm going to say right now I'm not an expert in it. But today we're aiming to cover some of the most essential skills for its use, so that everyone who attends has the basic skills they need. And we're going to do this by going through the processes together. And we're going to record this training so we can use it in future. So these are the 6 areas we're going to cover. The key things we need to be able to do: logging into Content Creator, selecting geographic areas of interest, using the standard reports option to get more information out of you about your area that you're looking at, the process to request voter ID sheets and a subsection to that, including setting up the doorstep app, script selections, and selecting road groups versus selecting polling districts. Then we're going to look at downloading the report and using WinZip to open it. And also we're going to look at best practice in handling voter ID sheets and canvassing data. So logging into Content Creator, this should be your view when you go to Content Creator. And to log into Content Creator, there's 3 pieces of information you need: the username, the password, and a 6-digit PIN. Every time you try and log into Content Creator, PIN request changes. So you can see in this case, it's requesting the 6th and the first digits of your PIN. And as an example, if your PIN was 678542, you would enter 2 and then 6. So what we're going to do is we're then going to go to the process of using Content Creator online. So once you've got into Content Creator, the first thing you'll see is this section where you have to choose the geography that you wish to interact with. So this is the area of the city that you want to deal with. I'm going to say this now: there is sometimes a problem where you log in and it doesn't give you any options here. So what you need to do is you need to refresh the page. So it's this little button up here. You reload the page, and usually that corrects the problem and it will come back. What we're going to do is we're going to run through the process of, we're effectively going to request the data for the street that I live in Brighton Kemp Town. And then we're going to effectively say that we went out canvassing and we got the data that I gave, and then we're going to see how we entered that data. Let's see. So within Brighton Kemp Town, because that is the constituency, you say show units within this unit, and then you go here, and I live in Rottingdean Coastal. So you go down here and you'll select Rottingdean Coastal and work with this. We're here. This is the landing page that you should see when you first log into Content Creator. You've got some key information on the right here, looking at total voters, contact rates, and Labour promises out of that. This is, of course, Rottingdean Coastal, and we had the by-election there quite recently. So although we haven't been actively canvassing, we did get a lot of very fresh information very recently. The next thing we'll be doing is I think that what we want to be doing is we want to be looking at standard reports and sort of some of the extra key information we want to be getting out of this software when we're looking at it. And the first thing we'll do is we'll go to analysis and statistics, and then we'll look at standard reports. From this, there's lots of information you can pull out instantly. So there's one of the key things I want to look at is the number of houses and households. So so let's click this, and this brings up, and it's counts of electors and households by ward and polling district. What we want to do here is we want to pull out the number of households we have in the ward, so we can then effectively make, we can say, okay, we need 6,000 or 5,000 newsletters to cover the ward. So it will open this page, and then we select a format. Let's get it as a PDF format, and then export. There we have it downloaded. We'll open that up, and we have all this information that we want. So interestingly enough, I live on Ashdown Avenue here, and you can see it has 47 households, 97 electors. If you go all the way to the bottom, you'll see there's a total of 6,400 households in the polling district. Okay, so from starting in this sheet, I think one of the most important thing we want to be doing is we want to be getting out voter ID sheets. And this, again, there's lots of tools here at your disposal, but what you want to be doing is, I think the best thing is to look over some of the complication and just run through things and know how to do this. So let's go to voter ID sheet. So this is the process. Okay, so first thing you'll be asked to do is confirm your email, but don't worry, this is just another security layer. It's just checking that your email is up to date in the system, and all you have to do is press continue. You're then in this stage where you're running a report. There's 4 key stages of this. There's report details, script selections, geography, and additional options. And I'll show you the key bits of information you need to do on each of these. First page is report details. So this is some fairly standard stuff, and a lot of it's to do with formatting and things that don't honestly matter that much. For example, you're setting a report name, a description, and the report type. We've selected voter ID sheet, and that's what we'll be working with the majority of time. The one thing we might want on this page is this button here that says publish report to the Doorstep app. So we make sure that's ticked. To give us give you a bit of briefing, the Doorstep app is the software that we can use via our phones to run voter ID programs. So instead of printing sheets, we can do this via our mobile, and it saves a layer of time because we don't have to enter the data afterwards. However, I'll state this now, it's my understanding in Hove and Kemp Town that it isn't popular to use the Doorstep app because often party members can incorrectly enter data and it messes up the systems. So it's generally preferred that we do it on sheets, and then there's another layer of checking that can be done to make sure the data is entered correctly. Now, the next stage we want to look at is script selections. So this stage, what we're doing is we're looking at the questions we're going to be asking our voters on the doorstep. There's a standard setup of this, which you can see here. So they have made some changes to this recently. There's this new question 3, which is on a scale of 1 to 10. How likely are you to consider voting Labour? But the question we're looking at, and the important question we want right now for the local elections, is question 4. What's your local voting intention? We can make changes to this, but honest to God, it's just not necessary, and it adds a layer of confusion and complication that we don't really need to do. So I just recommend it using standard, and we can move on. So the next stage is geography. So what we want to do here is we want to choose which streets, which areas of the city that we want to be canvassing. So we're going to go off and do Church Road or whatever. Let's go find the correct bit. In our example here, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be finding my street in Rottingdean Coastal, and we're going to be canvassing me specifically. So there's two options here. You can either sort by road groups or polling districts. Polling districts relate to where people submit their vote, and it's a bit difficult to understand from the user side. Road groups are a bit more self-explanatory. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for Ashdown Avenue. Okay, and we can see we've searched in this box, and it's found Ashdown Avenue. You can see Ashdown here. It's part of this Westminster Avenue group, and there's an extra layer of information. You can ask it. You can tick these boxes and check how many households are on the road group. So let's tick that and see what happens. And you can see we've reset here, Ashdown Avenue. There we go. You can see there are actually 38 households on the street that are registered to vote. So just a quick note, a good number, I think a good number for a canvassing session for households to contact is about 150. For 4 or 5 people, that's more than enough, and it gives you enough slack either way that you're not going to run out too quickly or take all night. We've picked this street, and it's specifically this street that we're going to request the data on. So we're done with geography. Let's go to additional options. Okay, there's again another layer of stuff here, but honest to God, it's not important. It's not, well, not to say it's not important. We don't have to worry about it. It's key things to exclude houses that don't have people who are electors, people who are deceased, people who are removed, etc. So to get your report, you go here and you click finish, and it will run the report. The system takes a little while. What it's doing, it's going to the database, it's taking the data out, the specific data you've requested, and it's compiling it into a sheet and into a format that is usable from your end. And as I said, it does take a little bit of time. It may be a minute, maybe 2 minutes. So just wait and let the page do its thing. Hopefully it won't crash on you. It's unlikely to do that. I'd recommend just leaving it to run. Okay, so what we have here is your report has been generated. Congrats. That's exactly what we wanted. There's a layer of complication on this due to Labour Party security. What you'll do is you'll download the report, and you click here to download the report. There you go. You can see it's downloaded. But this file is encoded. It's encoded with a specialist bit of software, and you'll need a specialist bit of software to unlock it. And what else is going on is that you will have a password sent to your email address that's registered with your account. So if you don't have the software, in Windows it's called 7-Zip, you simply click this and it will bring you to this page. You will download either this version or this version, depending on how new your computer is. I'd recommend trying the top one, and if you have some problems here, seek further advice. So we've downloaded the file. So let's go to our downloads page in our computer, and you can see we have this file here. But as I said, we can't open it with standard software. It's encoded. What we need to do is we need to open it with the specialist Windows 7-Zip. So what you'll do is you right-click on the file, you go to 7-Zip here, and click Extract here. and it will then request a password. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our email inbox, and we should hopefully have an email with the password in it. So there we go. We've received this. We can see we've received this email from Contact Creator, which contains this specific password. Copy it over. There you go. And refresh your page, and you should have the access to the Contact Creator sheet right here. So this is the document as it will come to you. There's quite a lot of information. You have a map of the road group here, and you also have the voter ID questions and the specific details. And what we're going to do is we're going to specifically look for my details. I see, because of course I created this document, it's got my name on it. But let's go to, well, that's annoying. Okay, let's do this the old-fashioned way. Let's find my address, 20 Ashdown Avenue. I see. Apologize. I think what it's done is it has already, and it has removed it because I've recently been because I ran through this as a tester earlier. So let's say we've contacted this single person here, and we spoke to this person, and as part of the local current voting intention, they said they're voting Labour. Then you go down here and you would see the information that they gave us, the answers. The next layer of using Contact Creator is you then need to enter the data from this report. So you will go to this slide which says enter data, and you will what you will have to do is you'll have to cross-reference the details of the sheet report with the ID number here. So if we look at this, you can see the sheet report number is 1431910, and we have the report here. So we're going to input that response from that voter. Okay, so, and this is what we do. We've got the specific street, Ashdown Avenue, and data was contacted. So our details were, let's see, number 22. Search. There we go. So what we can do is we can select the individual, and we can add all of the information that was requested here. And you can see you can add their voting intention here. And then we would click save and return. And what that would do, that is taking the data that we have taken from canvassing and adding it to the system online, because after canvassing, we have to upload the data. So the final thing I want to discuss tonight is handling the sheets after we're doing canvassing. The important thing, these are the sheets that we're talking about. These sheets, these contain a significant amount of personal information, and it's important that we are careful in the way we handle them. this information could be extremely useful to our political opponents, and the Labour Party also has legal responsibility as to how it's handled. So what I want to do is I want to impart on you the importance of, after these sheets have been used and after they have been returned, this data needs to be uploaded as soon as possible, and then the sheets need to be destroyed. They need to be burned or shredded. If the branch or the particular individuals involved aren't capable of doing that, then they can contact me. I will deal with it. I'll make sure that they're dealt with effectively. And that is a very important responsibility of all of us, to protect this data that we have collected as Labour Party members and as Labour Party role holders. Okay, so I think what we've done is we've covered the core things we wanted to do today. And I do want to ask if there's any particular questions or comments that we have from this session. If there's anything that we haven't made clear. Alison, you've got a question.
Yeah, with the data entry, if you have a sheet full of names and you've got lots to enter, can you just enter them sequentially? Do you have to type in the details of each person to enter each individual?
It can be done sequentially. It depends on the, but of course, it does tend to, it depends on what's the most effective way of doing it. Sometimes if you've been touching a lot of houses, you won't, and there haven't been people in, you've only had a handful of contacts. So sometimes it's faster to search by the names, and sometimes it will just put them in sequentially.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Are there any other core questions? John?
Not a question, just a comment. So when, just a tip for everyone, when you print out these data sheets, it doesn't sound very environmentally friendly, but if you do it single-sided and not double-sided, otherwise it's a bit of a nightmare for the board runner having to flip paper as they're going. So I'd recommend that to everyone.
Yeah, John, I think that's John's raising a good point. They are, it's not an environmentally friendly process. We do go through a lot of paper, printing these sheets and then destroying them. We've got I think we've got to make it as easy as possible for the people on the doorstep. You know, if it's dark and it's raining, you don't want to be faffing around with paper and getting it all wet or dropping the sheets. So single-sided, flipping them over as we go, and then yeah. So good point, John. Well, I think if we don't have any more questions, I think we've covered the basics here. And I hope this was helpful, and I hope this will help the rest of the team across the city. So yeah, short and sweet. Have a good evening.